Look at this diagram of two people talking, Akira, who is speaking, and Boda, listening. Notice the glowing blue bubble surrounding Boda. In Japanese grammar, this bubble represents the so demonstrative domain. It holds everything physically near the listener. If Boda happens to be holding something interesting, like that unusual spiky bag, it sits squarely inside his so domain. When Akira wants to ask about it, he needs a word that points directly into the listener's space. He uses Sonna. Because Sonna is a modifier, it cannot stand alone. The strict rule is that it must attach directly to a noun. Akira asks, "Sonna kaban wa doko de kaimashita ka?" Where'd you buy that kind of bag? The visual shows how Sonna directly connects to the noun kaban, or bag. By pairing Sonna with the bag in Boda's hands, Akira does two things. He acknowledges that the item is in the listener's physical space, and he shifts the focus to ask about the category or type of bag it is. This domain rule extends beyond physical objects. Look at the diagram now. If Boda starts telling a ghost story, that idea appears inside a thought bubble, but it remains wrapped in his blue listener's domain. Because Boda introduced the topic, that information effectively belongs to him. For Akira to point back to what was just said, he reaches into Boda's conversational bubble. He replies, "Sonna hanashi wa shiri masen deshita." I did not know that kind of story. Again, Sonna attaches directly to the noun hanashi, linking the grammar to the abstract concept. In spoken Japanese, a topic sits closest to the person who just brought it up. You use Sonna to reference their conversational property. There is one major exception to the must attach to a noun rule. Look at this anime-style frame showing Akira yelling a standalone exclamation, "Sonna!" If your friend reveals that their wallet was stolen, you do not need to attach a noun. Yelling, "Sonna!" acts as an immediate verbal reflex to express disbelief or shock. It translates perfectly to "no way." Returning to nouns, we need to clarify a common point of friction. This split screen shows Akira pointing at Boda's camera. On the left, he uses the word sono. He is identifying exactly that physical camera, and only that one. While sono isolates a physical object, Sonna describes the category. Here, Akira looks at Boda's gear and imagines finding that same style of camera for himself in a store window. Let's test this logic. The diagram pauses here. Notice that Akira is now holding a colorful shirt in his own hands. Because the object sits in the speaker's physical space, the so domain rule fails. The red X shows Sonna is incorrect here. Here, Akira must instead use the word kona, meaning this kind of. Correct demonstrative use requires constant tracking. You have to monitor who currently holds the object or introduced the information, and whether you are identifying the specific item or its general category. As learners build complexity, they often fall into a specific trap, trying to use Sonna as a plain pronoun acting as the subject of a sentence. This graphic highlights the error. The text reads, "Sonna wa dame desu." If you want to say "that is bad" using a standalone pronoun, the text on screen shows the correct swap. You must use sore, making the sentence "sore wa dame desu." But native speakers have a quick fix to keep the word Sonna. Watch the text here. By wedging in the nominalizer no, the sentence becomes "Sonna no wa dame desu." The particle no acts as a noun substitute. It translates to "that kind of thing" and gives the modifier the structural anchor it strictly requires, forming a solid noun block. This reveals the core nature of Sonna. It functions as a dependent modifier, always requiring a physical noun or a grammatical anchor like no to form a complete sentence. To review, look at Akira's signpost detailing the three core applications. Number 1, modifying physical items near the listener. Number 2, referencing abstract ideas brought up by the listener. And number 3, the standalone exclamation for shock. Sonna bridges the gap between speakers. It allows you to enter the listener's world, whether you are pointing to the bag right in their hands or reacting to the story they just shared.